Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the safe room. You know what it be. It's the president, Shon Williams. Guys, I'm back. And if you guys don't know, like, this is like my first recording in like almost a month. So like this is kind of, it feels weird, but you know what? We're back in it. We're back with the grind. You know what it be. So today I got two special guests. And like, listen, I've been paying attention to their pod and like for real, like these guys, yo, like they're on the come up. They're on the come up. For real. Today, I got Eliott and I got Elijah from the Conflict and Interest podcast. It's so great to have both of you guys here today. So amazing.
Bro, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
That was a great intro. Holy,
I appreciate it. I feel like a celebrity right now.
That's what I mean. He had that intro president. I was like, okay, I see him.
Right? Yo, take pointers, Eliott.
I know. I'm gonna get that for me.
So, you know, guys, it's great to have you here. We have a very interesting topic to go over, but before we go into that, I just want to make a couple announcements. Guys, if you don't know that I have an official soundtrack for my podcast, I've been promoted on my IG. Guys, go check it out. Listen, you don't understand, like, I'm not an artist, but I put my foot, my soul, everything into that track. So please, like, show your boy some love, all right? I'll leave it in the description. Go check it out, the official soundtrack of the Safe Room Podcast. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram as well at the Safe Room Podcast. I'm going to try to make more updates. And I have my second podcast with my boy Kevin. Shout out to him. Court Advantage Podcast. We talk all sports. We're dropping a video tomorrow as this drops. Yo, listen, if you're a WWE fan, make sure you go check out that video because I have something special.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so before we even get to the topic, I want to like talk about my two guests, Eliott and Elijah. Like tell me about yourself, what you guys do, you know, how you started Conflict and Interest, because I know all the lovely fans listening would love to know about you guys.
Oh, where to begin? So originally this was a podcast that I started with a couple other people, and it didn't end up being like EJ was not a part of this at all until I wanted him on as a guest, because he had some music coming out and I was like, all right, let's bring him on. And he's been one of my closest friends from time. So I was like, all right, let's do this. And we recorded the episode, and the first thing he thought it was like fantastic and it was a great time. And he's like, why don't we just do this on like a weekly basis? Why don't we make this a thing? And it's been like that ever since. So we've just been talking about random stuff, but like stuff that's politicized, controversial, all that kind of stuff. I mean, EJ, you can talk about your perspective on it too.
Yeah, for me, I remember when Eliott first started the podcast and I was listening to it and I was like, yo, this is trash, bro. I thought it was so bad. But eventually he was like, yo, you should come on it. Because I think, did my album drop?
Yeah.
Or a single drop? Something dropped.
Your single dropped.
Something dropped. He's like, let's talk about it. I was like, cool. So we started doing it. And that's the first time I've ever been on a podcast. And I thought it was just so much fun. I thought it was lit. And our dynamic anyways together is usually what you get when you listen to us. So I was like, why don't we just do this on a weekly basis, bro? Like, give us a reason to chop it up, see how you're doing every week. It's like a good reason to talk to your friend.
Yeah.
Right.
But might as well let other people in on it too. So
yeah. So I mean, ever since that, we've been like, our first bit of it was just trying to find consistency in doing it. Because when I was doing it by myself, it was 5 episodes and then 6 months off of just doing nothing. And then once EJ and I got together, we're like, we got to make consistency a key, even if the content is trash or it's like not good, we're not feeling it. We just got to put it out there to build consistency for us.
Yeah.
And then we took our off season and we were just, how can we make this better? So we decided that like we're gonna create our network, being the Open Concepts Network, and we're gonna have other podcasts under that network. So we renamed ourselves to Conflict and Interest, and that's how we started up. We're like, we got to add visuals now. We're gonna take us to the next step, because we reached the point where it's just a hobby. We want to make this something different. We want to make this something great. Right? Yeah. And so, then we have, and so we also have EJ's wife Priya and Shayna, who are 2 other hosts on another podcast under our network, the Big Girl Panties podcast, which is great.
I heard about them. They actually follow me, and like I was like, hold up, I've seen these names before. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah, so they started that because they've been talking about it for a while, and we're like, yeah, why best time to do it is now. So they've been doing that on a consistent basis as well. So it's been nice to, again, dip our toes into something that's a little different. So
It's fun. It's just I think podcasting is just fun.
yeah.
Yo, I have to say it for the people in the back because I don't think people understand the pains of like podcasting. People think it's like, oh, just hop on a mic, just say what you have to say. It's not that easy.
That's true too. Yeah.
So like, it's great to hear. And like, yo, Elijah, I heard that I know Eliott mentioned that you're married. So
Yeah,
like,
recently.
hey, that's good for you, man. Like, listen,
Thank you.
Like, see me, like, I don't know. I'm not even thinking about relationships. I just turned 21, and like, I'm just thinking about like, yo, what's my next assignment?
You're just legal now.
Yeah, I'm just legal. Like, what? So, also Elijah, you're a musician and artist and everything. I actually did some research, and this kind of blew my mind. Your influences, Chris Brown and Trevor Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Yo, I thought me, my sister, like 200 people only knew about Trevor Jackson.
Let's
so
go.
when
Let's go.
Yo,
big ups.
I put Eliott on to Trevor Jackson.
Yeah, that is facts.
Listen, like,
wow.
Listen, people say, oh, you know what? He's great on Grownish. He did great for Superfly. Don't sleep on Trevor, the artist, man.
I'll tell you the story. So it was back in the day. You guys watch, like, remember those Disney movies that came on?
Are you talking about Let It Shine?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the first place I saw him. And in that movie, he didn't even sing. He was like the faker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember him from that. That was my first time seeing him. And then I think one day I'm on Spotify going through music. And I hear this song. It was on a playlist. And it was like, I was like, yo, this is tough. Because I'm an R&B guy, right? And I go to see who it was. And I find out it was the same guy. So I'm like, yo, that's cool. Like, I have that connection. So I started going through his whole category. And I was like, wait a second. Like, he's nice.
No, like, for real, the man is
nice.
Like, it's funny. It's like in the movie, he's the faker, but honestly, of the two, he was the actually talented one,
right?
Coming out.
Did you see that movie, Eliott?
No, I haven't. Again, you only put me on based on the artist, so I had no affiliation or understanding of who he was prior to that.
You didn't watch Disney movies growing up?
I didn't have cable.
Oh, you were broke.
Oh,
I was
man.
broke, bro. Okay,
Yo.
leave it be.
Yeah, like, okay, so I have to ask, like, what's your favorite, like, project from him? Or if I know he's dropped a couple, so like, what's your favorite?
If you asked this before his newest one dropped, then I would say
it's either rough draft. Yeah, In My Feelings.
I would say In My Feelings.
In My Feelings.
But now that the love language came out, hands down. Hands down.
I like the love language. I know some people may not think about this. I am in love with Rough Drafts Part 2. I legitimately have every song downloaded from that. I'm not usually that type of person. It's like, listen, if I listen to an album and I like it, I'll probably take, like, the songs that are close to me. I don't know what it was, but it's like, I can't skip nothing. Like, I need the entire album.
He's nice with it.
That's very interesting. Yeah, for me, it was like Rough Drafts Part 1. And then 2, in my opinion, was like, there were some songs there, but it wasn't like that whole album I can just run through. And it
was very hip-hop-y.
That's what it was, right? So when we heard Love Languages, when it came out, because we were waiting for this album from Time, where we finished recording and we're like, all right, let's go. We're just going to listen to one song and then we're going to go to sleep. We're going to listen to the rest of the album.
Yeah.
We listened to every single song at random and just went back to back. Oh my gosh, every single one of them was a banger.
Oh my god.
Absolutely.
There's so much. What's your favorite? Because I know there's a bunch.
I know what his is.
Favorite song?
Yeah.
It's top 3.
Bouts to be.
Bouts to
be.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. That is probably, honestly, it's up there. It's Trevor's best track, one of his best tracks. Like, oh my,
I love that
it's
joint.
so smooth,
right? Old school R&B vibe with the new school swag.
Oh my gosh.
Eliott can tell you when we listened to that one, as soon as he started singing, I stopped the track, did a lap around my living room, and then restarted it. And we're like, okay, let's go.
That's me. That is me. Like, I'm the type of person, I'm listening to new music, and it's like, if it hits my soul, I pause, I do a whole lap around my kitchen, just go sit in my bed, like, okay, pause. All right, restart the track. Okay.
That's black people for you. If we don't get up and move, go back to the drawing board.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's so amazing. And like, I mean, just by that, you as an artist, I listen to some of your music and like you're great as well. You're
Thank you.
absolutely amazing
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
sure. So like it's great to have like someone like you, like an artist. What you guys are doing with your podcast is amazing, and how you're just spreading this positive message. How you're kind of dispersing to other people. It's a great sight to see for sure.
Appreciate it, man.
Man, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, the topic of the day. If you've been living under a rock, but I don't think you have, because this person and the incident itself has been getting a lot of buzz. Astroworld. Let's talk about it. So, to kind of paint a picture, if you don't know the full detail, listen, disclaimer, I'm not a news reporter. I did some research, but if there's some facts that I might be misinforming, then so be it. But on Friday, November, I believe it was November. I can't remember. That's how much this COVID affected my day. Like, what was it? The is it the 5th?
I
November
don't
5th?
remember either. I know it was just like some time past, like last week or something.
Yeah, I
I
think
just
it was
know. I
November.
just know it's relevant right now. That's all I know.
Right. So close to a week ago, let's just say that close to a week ago, the Astroworld Festival took place in Houston with Travis Scott. Huge thing that happened, a huge event, but unfortunately things did not play out the way that ideally the typical fan would want to go for a good experience, just to go listen to their favorite artists. Unfortunately, as of right now, 8 individuals unfortunately died, hundreds were injured. Um, about close to 25 people were hospitalized as well. I believe like one of the youngest patients was like 9 years old, 9 or 10 years old.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So it was very sad to see. There's been a lots of clips that have been posted on social media. A lot of news outlets have been touching on the subject as well. And some people are giving a lot of backlash, whether it's to Travis Scott, whether it's to just the organization of the entire event. And people have been talking about this lately, sharing their own takes and everything. So I wanted to bring this on the pod, and I wanted to bring you two because I feel like what makes I would say what makes you two perfect for this conversation. You guys really know how to express your takes, even the ones that some people are comfortable of hearing.
Mm.
And I don't say that as like a bad thing. I really say that because again, I think with a conversation like this, there should be all aspects heard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's really important. So I'm just gonna kind of start from some general broad questions, and then hopefully we can get deeper in analysis. Just what was your, and just be honest, like your initial reaction? Like, were you someone that when you first heard it, you're like, oh, like I need to know more about, or like when you heard it, just like, okay, this is sad, this is tragic, but you kind of moved on, and then once it's starting to pick up more in talks, like it's like, okay, maybe I should focus a little bit more. Like, what was your guys' initial reaction to this?
I mean, for me, when I saw it, I was like, I hate to say it, but it's the same way as any other tragedy that happens usually in the news or whatnot. Like you hear about it and you feel bad, but you move on. And then the more you hear about it, the more you kind of start to think about, oh, wait, maybe this is an actual thing that's going on. So when I first heard it, my first reaction was, why is everybody getting mad at Travis? Because I didn't know much about the story. So I was like, why is everybody getting mad at Travis for what the audience members did to other people? That was my first thing. And the more I heard about it, I'm hearing that the organization, like there was underfunded security, underfunded medical staff, like a whole other stuff that was just problem after problem. And so whether it's true or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, my first reaction was just, and it's not a good reaction to have in the sense that if I hear something bad happening, I should feel some type of way about it.
Right.
But I think it's just because there's so much crap going on that it's so oversaturated with, oh, somebody died, oh, this happened. We just tend to not think about it and just move on with our lives because it's not really affecting us. Right. So I don't know. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah. First thing I saw was about how there was like overdoses, or no, not overdoses, cardiac arrest.
Right.
And they were saying how something like over 100 people went into cardiac arrest. So instantly, the first thing I think is that's a bad batch of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my head went. I was like, I'm thinking about how like there's like a fentanyl epidemic going on where they're putting it in everything, and you hear all these celebrities dying from overdoses. but it's really fentanyl, and like it doesn't take much to kill you. And I'm thinking like that's scary.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I heard a lot of people blaming Travis. And at first I was thinking like Eliott, I was like, how can you put that on Travis? Like he didn't put these drugs out here. But then I started seeing some videos of how he didn't stop the show. And then I was like, okay, now I need more information.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like I just want to make this clear too. There were moments where he actually did stop the show. I think there was a couple of times that he paused. I think one of the more famous clips, there was a clip where I think Travis was on top of like a podium, and like there was someone being attended, I think stretchered out, and like he was kind of like harmonizing, still singing to the music. That's what I guess is the most popular clip that people see. But then there's another clip where basically before that, he's actually pausing, like letting the band know, like, hold on, stop. There's someone that passed out. Please, like, get security, get to him. So again, like, I think the situation with all of this is that there's so many people that are getting so many different takes on it, where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, like he's not paying attention, he's not stopping the show. When other clips like, no, he's clearly stopping the show, and then or it's like, oh, does he see the ambulance? I know there's a point where there's an ambulance trying to pass through the crowd. He's like, does he see
Yeah.
the ambulance? And then there's other clips. It's like, no, he sees it. Like there's a moment he's like, yo, wait, what the heck is going on? So like that's what really stood out to me at first. I was like, okay, like I kind of looked into it, but I thought like, okay, maybe it's just like something because I think there's been serious like situations where fans have passed out at shows. It's not like an uncommon thing,
Mhm.
but when it came to a point where it's like people were like, it was getting crazy, and I think what really kind of ticked me off, and I think this is where I begin my rant. So bear with me, guys. Before the festival, when people were breaking down the gates in the entrance, and
Yeah.
that was when I was like, oh hell no.
It's a
And
recipe for
like,
disaster.
yeah, because I'm thinking to myself, like, the first thing I'm thinking is like, we hear the argument of that humans, we're selfish. We only care about our own interests. We only care about the stuff that we do. And even though a lot of, I might get academical here, so again, even though that might be true and people like to prove it, I always like to say, you know what? You could always see the best out of someone else. Like there's not always people that always want to be selfish and want to be greedy for, stuff that they want to obtain. Watching that clip made me question that morality. I'm thinking, I was like, people are really reckless out here. You got people being trampled. Like it came to a point where people could not get up, they could not move, and people are walking by, just running by, trying to get to the festival. Like, oh, I gotta go see Travis. Like there's new clips now showing that there's a whole surge of people just coming, jumping the barricades and everything. And it's just like the funniest thing too, you have people on like recording this. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you're just gonna record this and not like step in, intervene, and try to like, oh wait, hold on, this is getting out of hand. Like, let me go help this person. Let me go
That's the
help
world
this
we live
person.
in now.
Yeah.
Right. So like,
Get it on camera before you help them.
And that's what it was. I think a lot of people were saying that, like, I think a video got sent to me was talking about how like they were part of the medical staff and they were so under, like, not funded, but they just had the lack of medical staff there to help, that one person was just like scattered amongst like other people, and they couldn't coordinate properly. And same
That's
with
crazy.
security as well. So like I don't know if it was like, again, as you were saying, it's not, it was just people just weren't following the rules. They were going nuts because they wanted to see one person.
I think Travis concerts though, have that vibe
Effect, yeah.
I know that he's very much into like, if you didn't come to get lit, stay at the back of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think the audience that he brings and the environment is very like, jump the fence, let's get lit. But
right.
at the same time, if you know that that's how your fans are, double up on security,
you gotta
double up on
and
medical, all that stuff.
That's such a fair point. And like that's where I'm looking like, you know what? There should be no blame for Travis for like what happened with, later on in the concert. But he does have some influence, and I hope he does tell himself that, you know what? Because I kind of I intrigue and I push for this type of environment because again, like rage music, you see a lot of Travis concert, and not even Travis, like it's like Lil Uzi Vert, Trippy, Playboy. When you see these guys like that's like, oh, I want to see like your energy, bring the rage and everything. listen, like fans, they will buy into anything these artists say.
That's
And
true.
because it's like, oh, we can jump the barricade, we're gonna do that. Oh, we can take out security, let's do that. Yo, Travis said he got like, cause I think there was a post even where he said the tickets sold out, but yo, I'm a finesse y'all. I'm gonna get some more. So you're literally insinuating that I don't give a damn. Like we about to go nuts.
Yeah, that's
So,
crazy. Like there has to be like a level of responsibility
mm-hmm.
on the artist to say like, you know what, I want to, like, I'm cool. They know I'm cool like that. But at the same time, if the ticket's sold out, it's because capacity is capped.
Yeah.
You know, like we can't hold more people for safety reasons. But I don't know. If he didn't know that, maybe he knows that now. I don't know.
Like, there's no way he didn't know about that. Like, there has to have been some sort of understanding of it.
I don't want to assume.
Yeah, I know. I don't either. But I mean, like, is this his first time throwing Astroworld?
No, he's done it. I think it started in 2018. I think
so. That's what I mean. You've learned from like year to year. You can't not know this. Come on.
And Eliott, I'm glad you mentioned that because now, because of what happened recently last week, people are going into the archives in previous stuff. Because I think in 2019, someone got hospitalized. I think there was an incident in New York as well in 2017 where people were literally jumping off balconies, and like there was a moment where Travis is like, "Listen, I see you, but are you gonna do it?" Like what?
Yeah, that's crazy.
You're goading them to do it. Oh my goodness.
These fans think they're Jeff Hardy, bro.
For real.
That's crazy.
It felt like no, for real. Like, and like I think there was even the famous incident I think in 2015 with I call it Lollapalooza. I'm probably butchering the name, but it is what it is. Where fans were like literally like climbing on stage and like literally like Travis is like, yo, like don't touch the Rangers, like yo, like fuck the Rangers, fuck the security. It's just like
that's crazy,
jeez,
bruh.
And the thing is, like, I feel like also, if you know that that's the kind of fans you have an age limit.
Yeah.
Like you got 10-year-olds there, and even if the 10-year-olds want to get lit too, they just physically can't. They can't keep up with these.
They will get bodied,
right?
Oh yeah, like it's sad to the point where like you have to not only mentally prepare yourself but literally physically prepare because it's like you have to be like of a certain stature because like listen, rage music and like mosh pitting, it's not for the weak. Like I know this because listen, you see like mini like remember the times in like those schools where you go to like those dance and everything and you see those mini like those childish mosh pits. Even those are reckless sometimes. So imagine with 50,000 people and everyone like literally the gap of like space is like bare minimum, and like you have to be jumping around. It's like it's so tragic. Like there's literally people reporting saying that when I was there it was so hard to breathe, and someone said that if you fell down you had like a split second to get up or you were going to get trampled.
That's crazy.
Like, I'm not claustrophobic, but that would have made me 100%. Oh my gosh.
I've tried to mosh pit once in my life. I gave myself whiplash. I was like, you know what? This is not for me.
It's not for you. It ain't
but like that environment to me, like I'm not a Travis fan like that. So I wouldn't be at a show like that. But I mean, I get how it could be fun, but I think we still gotta be responsible and wise. Just like, guys,
Yeah, I think there definitely needs to be some level of accountability, and I think a lot of other talk as well is the apology Travis. He went on his Instagram, and some people are legit already are roasting him and everything, saying like, oh, it wasn't genuine, it wasn't something that he really meant. He didn't look like he was completely there and everything. And honestly, I wouldn't even expect Travis to be completely there because it's like I can't speak for him. I don't know what he's thinking, but I'm hoping that he's contemplating about this concept of the Astroworld Festival, and it's like, okay, you know what? I kind of understand from this now. There are fans who are like willing to like literally die for me because like they treat me as like this messiah, like Travis, like we do what he does. If he goes left, we go left. If he goes right, we go right. If he says jump, we jump. So it's like maybe I need to be a little more precautious of like how I portray myself on stage and everything, because like I think there was even other clips where with the ambulance in the crowd trying to escape, there was literally fans hopping on the car, the truck,
on the car,
and dancing, and
That's
like
crazy, yo.
yeah.
If I was there and I seen someone on stage, I would have grabbed them. What are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you? That's crazy.
Yeah, it was bad, and like there were even moments that fans like took the liberty to be like go up and like tell the people stop the show. I think there was that famous clip with like the dude, because I think the dude and his girlfriend and the girl's friend, unfortunately she died, and he was trying to tell the cameraman like stop the show, and like they were literally booing him. They were booing him like, yo, get off. And it's like, yo, you guys can't see it because you're all the way in the corner, but yo, some people have passed out. Like, and Ellie, I know you mentioned like, there was an ICU nurse that was there as well. I think there was another one as well who she passed out, and I think it was so bad that they had to crowd surf her just to get to the front.
Yes.
That's what Eliott was talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Their body looked limp. Like I thought this person was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's
it was
insane.
crazy.
And imagine like the situation where like there's that panic within the person, like, oh my god, like people are trying to do CPR, and like listen, CPR, it's not something that like, oh, you can be like a hero in the movies, like, oh, I can save someone's life. That is serious, because if you're puncturing like the wrong places of the body, like you could kill them. Like you legit kill them. So like that's a scary moment too, because you got people who don't know what they're doing, and it's all because of panic and fear. So like, I don't know, man. It's a lot to take in, and just every time I keep seeing like different clips, it makes me so sad, because it's just like I don't know how something like that could turn into something catastrophic. Like literally, people are calling it like it's like a mass casualty. Like it's that bad. So
Well, it makes you think about why they have these capacity limits in buildings or whatever. Because if there is an emergency, you don't want this to happen.
right.
So
It's bad. Like I made an episode a couple months back where I talked about how a lot of these concerts are getting a lot of more traction. I remember back in the days, like on TV, the only time you see all these big artists get together was like award shows, like at best. Like now it's like you can find all these big artists at like your favorite concert, Rolling Loud, Coachella,
Festivals, yeah.
Lollapalooza, like everywhere now. And I feel like that is ramping up so quickly that people are like, oh, you know what? Because we see it so frequent, I'm gonna definitely take the time to go there. And I guarantee you, a good amount of people have probably seen Travis. Maybe if not like he had his own set, but maybe like he was like a special guest for another concert. So like, there's obviously the people who, oh, we've been like, we've been the Scots for life. That's how it's been. There's some people who's like, you know what? I just want to go there and have a good time, enjoy, some good music, and like that fear that you don't even know if you're gonna be coming home that same day. It's a scary sight.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's like a fine line of recognizing our favorite artists as artists, but also as brands. Right? So if I was going to, I don't know, a movie for Marvel is a brand. We don't view Marvel as a person, right? So we don't carry on reckless if we go to a Marvel event.
Yeah.
Right? End of the day, these artists, the biggest ones, Travis, Drake, all these people, they're brands. So, but we don't see it that way. So we think, yo, Travis is one of us.
Right.
And as a person, he might be, but at the end of the day, it's a brand. And you're coming to see a show. So you can't be acting unprofessional for a professional brand, But we missed that line.
Right. It's just a sad sight to see. And like I think there's even like footage where so Tiana Taylor, I know she's going on her final tour and everything, because I think she said she's retiring from music. There was a clip where I think a fan passed out, and like she completely stopped, and like she was like, hold up, bring her to the front. Like she completely was like she was near the stage, and she was like speaking to her like, oh, are you okay, and everything like that. And I think even another clip where SZA, she was performing as well, and she just paused half performance, like nothing was going wrong, just to ask people like, are we good, are we okay? So like I feel now, after what happened with Travis, a lot of artists are now starting to be like, yo, like we gotta be careful for our fans too, because, and that's the craziest thing, when you think of us like a SZA fan or a Tiana Taylor fan, they're not the craziest fans. Like they're just chill.
Right?
Like we're vibing, but it's like we're not getting like mosh pit
Our
going
R&B
crazy.
fans, they're different
Yeah.
fans.
Right. So
Chilling, they
like
enjoying.
when you see the R&B artist taking the liberty to do that, that's when
Yeah.
you know it's like what you saw that night. It really affect people mentally. Where it's like,
Mhm.
yo, like we need to approach these things more serious.
You know what I just thought of though? Wasn't it a couple years ago we saw a clip of a fan taking Travis's shoe at a concert,
Oh yeah,
Yes.
and
That's
he
right.
told him to jump him.
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't, you know what? Travis
Well-
might have known better, but I don't know what kind of person Travis
Well,
is.
I was gonna say this is that when you mentioned the examples of like SZA and other people, it shows like the difference of like the respect of they have for the fans in comparison to maybe other artists, for example, like
Mhm.
Travis, or even like with the baby being like, yo, he just touched me that way, you just smack him up, or he's being like, yo, jump him, get him, beat him up. Yeah. Right. So it's like it's that difference. And I think maybe going forward, people will have a lot more respect for these people that are paying tons of money to come see them, but at the same time for their well-being as a human.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the thing is, like, so I don't think all the blame should be focused on Travis. I do think Travis has like some influence that probably he hasn't realized that he's created. Because, like, listen, Rage music did not start with him. Obviously, this kind of stems from like rock and roll and punk music back in the day, but he kind of amplified it, especially in like hip hop and trap when he came in.
You think he doesn't know how much influence he has?
That's what I was gonna ask too. Is like there's no way he's not aware of that.
I think he's damn well a known, but I think the problem for him is like when is that like that final extreme where it's like, okay, shit, let me stop. And I think all those times, despite the fact people jumping off balconies, people hopping on stage, that's fine because I believe like he grew up on this type of energy, like rage music. So to him, it's not like, oh, I'm a normal person and based on the music I personify and what people feel about it, I'm gonna start raging. Like, no, this is what he was doing before, and he's like, I'm going to bring what I love and spread it to everyone else. So when you have someone that's like an enhancer like that, it's very hard to get to them and be like, hold up, like you don't realize how much of a ripple effect that you're creating. And it's like it goes to that last extreme, which was what happened last week, where it's like, okay, so like I'm being dead honest, because I know he said he's been talking about dropping like a new project. I won't be surprised if that gets pushed back. I won't be surprised if we don't hear much of Travis like in the next 6 months, period.
Well, I mean, the lawsuits that they claim are happening are like a lot. So
and like, yeah, so
a lot on his plate right now.
He's probably gonna be like just hush hush quiet and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna let like because I don't know how much he could honestly bear, but I damn well believe he knows how much of an influence he's doing in terms of like this rage
Do you think this is the last straw for him? Because the way I was thinking about this just now is if this is his like final straw and he's learned from this, do you think if he's gonna tame down his shows that fans are going to now resent him more because he's changed, he's not doing the stuff that he used to do
They'll say he's sold out.
That's what I mean. So do you think because of that this won't be his final straw, or it is, and people are just not going to ride with him anymore as they used to?
Honestly, like for me, and listen, I'm not like a Travis like fan like that. Like I like Travis. I think he produces great music. For me, and like I'm only just one person. I don't speak for the majority. I wish this was the final straw and he would learn from this. But like I said, like with such a guy like Travis, how he has so much power and how much his fans like lynch onto him, I feel like, whatever he decides, like they'll do. But I could see something going completely left field where it's like, no, like don't turn down the rage. Like, yes, what happened was like tragic and this and that, but don't feel so guilty to be like, oh, I'm just not gonna do like all this crazy shit anymore. So like if you're asking me, I wish he would, but sadly, I don't think he would turn it down.
I think that goes back to the brand thing. Like that's what his brand is built on. So then now swap it means you're playing with his money.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I don't think anything's gonna trump the money.
Yeah, he wants to keep that bag.
Yeah, so it's just really sad to see, and like just prayers to like the families and the individuals that were affected by this. It's just really hard to see. Like I talked to my sister, I talked to my family, and like it's so hard. Like even doing research, going back to watch the clips, I'm just thinking to myself like, yo, like how did things just get so far out? Like what happened? Like it was already bad before when people were literally trampling the gates trying to break in, and then it just led to just worse situations, worse implications. It's so sad. I hope Travis learns something from this, hopefully, because like again, I can't tell him what to do. I'm one person, especially not even a person that's like deep into his music. So, but I think we should like let him know from like I guess from our perspectives that this shit this shit can't just go aloud. You need like
Mhm.
something needs to happen. Something needs to change.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So so that was a lot for the Astro World Festival. I kind of want to switch gears a bit because today is Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
We are celebrating it. Unfortunately, I don't have a poppy, so but
I don't either.
yeah. But regardless, the I want to talk about specifically, one aspect because I actually went to my old high school the other day. I was talking to someone I knew very well, and I told him about my podcast, and he kind of brought this topic up, and I just want to like share it with you guys, just hear what you think. So
Mhm.
he feels like Remembrance Day is important. Remember all the soldiers who have fought for this country and everything, but he also wants to talk about the the black soldiers specifically and how they were in the form misrepresented because I know obviously when it comes to like the forefront and who we remember the most, he talked about it was a lot of like white soldiers. The black soldiers weren't really allowed to be enlisted into going to war at the time being, and no one really talks about that aspect. No one talks about like the number 2 construction battalion. No one really brings that up, especially for Remembrance Day. So like I just want to hear what you guys think. Do you believe that it's just something that, yeah, it should be like talked about more often, that we should bring it up? Or do you think like, it's just there and it is mentioned, it's just not that as talked about because like again, we're trying to like include everyone who has like sacrificed their lives for that. It's not just like, the black soldiers, not to say that they're not important, but it's like we have to remember it wasn't just like them fighting the war at the time.
Mhm.
I just want to get your guys' opinion on that.
I think, yeah, that is kind of a tricky one. What do you think
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah.
Um, I think first of all, I think there's a lot of Black history that just does get swept under the rug.
Mhm.
So on that hand, I'm like, yeah, educate on the Black soldiers. On the other hand, people lost their lives for our freedom. So it's like, is this the topic to be to stand on that hill for?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe not. For me personally, Remembrance Day has always been something I am a part of because I'm Canadian, but I've never actually had a personal tie to it because I actually I don't know anybody who's been in like that is a soldier,
Right, like family history. You
right?
don't.
Mhm.
I don't think any of my family was that. So personally, I don't feel it the way a lot of people do, but I respect it. So I think when Remembrance Day comes around, I kind of just do what everyone else does. I I don't really share my opinion on it that much because I don't really have a huge one on it. Besides, I'm grateful for the people that did serve. But yeah, that's a tricky one with the Black soldiers though, because I'm like, I don't know if I would say this is the the war to fight this
Yeah.
thing on.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if I did have a grandfather who was in the army
Mhm.
and they weren't recognizing him, I'd feel some type of ways about that.
Mm.
So
No, listen.
I don't know.
And you know what, Elijah, you brought up a great point. How like there's just certain people that may not be able to kind of speak on like, oh, I have like someone who went to war and like fought for our freedom. Like for me,
Mhm.
like I don't know like my family tree that deep like that. So it's like when people bring it up, it's like, oh yes, it's important. Like believe me, I'm a person. It's like when I do see like an injustice to Black people, I will like to speak up and voice my my concerns on that. But like in moments like this, it's just like I just
Yeah.
I just appreciate everyone who like put their lives on the
Yep.
line because like it's we're talking humanity. Like I feel like there's nothing bigger than that
Yeah,
at the time. So
I
it's
agree.
like if I can't speak to you on that, it's just like it sucks. And I feel like there's that pressure, especially among like black people. It's like, oh, if you don't know what's up, then you're not woke, or if you're not supporting this and that. It's like I can't speak on everything. I'm not like a whole encyclopedia.
I hate
Like,
that narrative so much. Where, like if you're not 100% informed on whatever stance is going on, then you're not a part of it. And I'm
right,
like, yo, that's not the case.
Mhm.
I'm not as informed as you are.
right, exactly. Just it's a hard question. I mean, Elliot, I don't know if you wanted to say anything on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because you're not even black, Eliott.
that. Well, that's what I was about to say.
What?
Is right. If I had to relate it to, like, say, if there was like a Latino Canadian soldier that was there, and I didn't know that he was being represented for Remembrance Day or whatnot. Growing up as a kid, I didn't really think about representation as really the thing to be focusing on. It's more of that these people decided to pay the ultimate price for our freedom to so that we could live here today. And yeah, it's a difficult subject to really, or a topic like that of representation to really bring out, because in reality it's like serving like that doesn't really care about your skin color, doesn't really care about stuff like that. It's if you're choosing to make this ultimate sacrifice so that other people can have freedom. So
Right.
the other thing too was, I think, for, if I'm being completely honest, for the majority of growing up in, like, respecting it is one thing, but then after that I feel like it's like a fleeting thought for most people. It's like this is the one day that we will choose to remember, and then after that it's just like
Mm.
every other day. I think that
Mhm.
if we truly cared, we would do our own research. We don't need to have other people saying, "Oh, just because you don't know about this, you're a bad person." If you truly care, educate yourself. That's really what it comes down to. I think that if other people are speaking on behalf of that, like,
Is
who
it
cares? If you know, that's all that
is
matters.
it wrong to not care based on a lack of knowledge? Like it might sound bad. I don't really care. Like I do care because it's a great thing. But like kind of like Elliot said, like when the day passes, I don't really think about it.
Right. It's kind of like, when the time comes and like, okay, it's like up in center, it's like, okay,
Hmm.
I'll definitely like pay my respects to it. But it's like a week later, I'm not thinking about it. It's
Hmm.
just
Mhm.
like, and again, like, it's not to say that, you don't have a heart. It's just like, time just moves so fast and goes by. It's just like, I don't
Yeah.
really have the time to like resonate unless you were someone who has family blood, who's has deep history with that.
Yeah.
Like, see, for me,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
again, I can't speak on that.
I don't even think I have friends who have family
Mm.
that has been in that. So I can't even like I don't even know like if they had a story that I could hear and be like, wow, that's cool. I don't think I don't in my circle, it doesn't touch me like that, you know?
Yep.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, it's a very like tough question because it's not just like, oh, like, do I care? Should I consider it? It's just like, again, for some people they may be able to touch on the subject matter. Others can only give you like so much. It's just like, listen, like I respect everyone who's like laid their life down for our freedom and like that. That's
Mhm.
pretty much it.
Yep.
So. I know, guys, everyone listening, I know this has been a more sad episode. Usually I try to bring like a positive energy, but again, once in a while, I do want to let people know that we have to have these conversations. It is important because, again, if we're not having it, then I feel like there's no progress in terms of like solving the issues that are like existing in the world right now. So I just want to say
Mhm.
thank you to Elliot and Elijah for coming on the pod, just having this like fantastic conversation. Like this was great. This was great.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
having us, man.
Yeah, no problem. Where can they find you guys?
So you can find our podcast on Instagram, Conflict and Interest, Conflict and then N Interest. We're on Spotify, Apple, usually the streaming platforms, as well on YouTube. You can search up Conflict and Interest or the Open Concepts Network. We have all our visuals up there. You can find me at Eliott Camargo on Instagram. Then EJ, you can plug your stuff.
Oh, it's my turn now.
It's your turn. It's your turn. I don't usually
Uh,
do that. I asked you to plug.
that's true. Right? You can find me on Instagram. This is Juan96.
So yeah, and also go check out Elijah's music as well, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm dope.
Run that. Run that, Juwan.
Yeah. One of these days, yo,
uh,
if I get Trevor Jackson, as a feature on a
Hey.
song, I'm coming back to this podcast.
That's
We're
right.
gonna talk about it.
Listen, I know a guy. He does rap too. He mostly does freestyles. Maybe like I could like get him to like you and him hook up and everything
Yo,
like that.
I'm an engineer. All the audio you hear on our podcast, or my music, or my wife's podcast, that's me. So anybody that wants
Hey.
music,
Your
come through.
guys' setup and everything is elite. I'm rocking on Zoom and everything. So sometimes it's
Hey,
a struggle.
Humble beginnings, man. That's how I started too. Humble beginnings.
Starting from the
Yeah.
bottom.
So yeah, it is what it is. Thank you guys for tuning into the Safe Room. I will be back with an episode next week. You know, I'm trying to get back on that grind again. It's been a month, but now it's like, listen, the president's back. I'm be doing my shit, okay?
Oh,
Let's go.
big talks now, eh?
Yo, listen.
The man
like,
said you're gonna come correct.
listen, I got some good
Wants
topics.
all the smoke.
I got some good topics, and guys, also make sure you guys support my boy Kevin and I on our sports podcast, Sport Advantage. We're trying to stay consistent. I remember last year, I think we did like a live stream for like 3 hours. We might do that again. We might run it back for real.
Yo, we should do that, Eliott.
All right.
That sounds stressful though.
3 hours. Just a
3 hours
time
of a live stream.
to try to entertain the populace. Yeah.
Oh
my God.
believe me, like my boy Kevin and I, we can talk about sports for like hours for real.
That's crazy.
All righty.
Anyway, guys, thank you for